At some point, everything's going to go south on you. Everything's going to go south, and you're going to say, this is it. This is how I end. Now, you can either accept that, or you can get to work. That's all it is.
Good morning YouTube, and welcome back to another one. I hope you can see the improvements in quality, because this is the reason that I missed last Sunday's upload, because I was picking up a new setup. So picked up the new camera, mics, all of that jazz, so that I can get some better content out to you guys on these Sundays. So jumping straight into the video, we've got legs later on today, but before that, it's a nice Tuesday morning, just getting my food ready ahead of schedule, just, you know, prepping my potatoes, all of that jazz, making sure I can get myself in a good spot for later, because I've got a busy day ahead. Sunday I didn't get to prep because we were filming the podcast a little later than usual, so if you've not watched that, get over there and go and watch the Unassisted podcast. I'll try and put a link below in the description. But other than that, things have been good on all fronts. I've just been, you know, cracking on, doing the do, and getting further into this deficit. We had another slight pull to food, so my training day macros are now 250 carb, 200 protein and 49 fats, I would say. Then my non-training day is around 69 fats, but it's 150 carb, 200 protein again, so about 2,060 something calories both days. Seeing a nice drop to body weight now. My fluctuations are still apparent. That's something with my physique that I've always had. Like, I can drop and lose a kilo, I can gain a kilo overnight, and then it just tapers away. Even with things like sodium, water, all accounted for, output exactly the same. But I look at the weekly averages. That's why it's so important, having a timeline of data and being able to, you know, put your data into some sort of log to see what your weekly averages are like, rather than just going off the day by day and your head falling off every morning. So weighed in this morning actually at 81.2, prime example. Far away from where I would have expected to be. I'd expect to be, you know, digging into the 79s by now, but I guarantee you by the end of this week we will see consistent 79s. Fluctuations, they can get in your head right. So same as usual this morning, weighed in, water down, subs down, Vit C, D3K2, omega 3s. Double down on those Vit Cs right now, man, because everybody in the planet is getting ill, and I need to buy some glutathione as well, as recommended by the big dog Elliot himself. So cracking on with the breakfast prep this morning, omelette over here, ready to go, 3 eggs, 200 grams of egg whites and some broccoli. That'll be my meal 1. Then just prepping my potato for my meal 2 and my meal 3. And then I need to get G's pancakes made, which is just egg whites and some whey. So I need to get George's pancakes sorted out as well. A little bit of cocoa powder, a little bit of baking soda, and then we get those in the pan. So got a lot of cooking to do. Whilst I'm cooking, let's chat. Okay, potato sorted. I just need to get it on the boil. But first, let's get these pancakes made for G. 2 eggs, nice and easy, into the bowl. I will spin this around and show you at some point. And then 100 gram of egg whites, easy work. A little bit of whey, a little bit of cocoa powder. You're laughing. That is something I would definitely have passion for, if it wasn't for the fact I can't eat it right now. Feels a bit like prep again. I'm making all this cool stuff that I just cannot eat. I've been using this recently, Naughty Boy Whey. It's cracking, man. It's really good stuff. Really smooth as well. But look at that for meal 1. Like 40 grams of protein, less than 10 carb, like 10 fat. Perfect meal 1. We'll get this up to G. And then my meal 1, on the other end of the spectrum, we've got, you know, egg whites, some broccoli, and a little bit of Nando's medium. Now that everybody in the house has had their meal one, G is satisfied, I can get into my work block, which means I'll get about 30 minutes of steps done whilst I'm on the treadmill, respond to all my client messages, and then from there I can sit down and start getting actual check-ins sorted out. The reason that I like to spend like 2 to 3 hours of just getting a big work block out of the way first thing in the morning is because I don't like to train with the thought on my mind about having to get back to like responses and stuff like that, or just get general work done. I would rather get it sorted out before I have to go and train, and that way when I do go to train I've got a clear head and not much to think about. Some people would do like an AM check-in and then do, you know, like a nighttime PM response, or AM check-in next day morning response. I just can't sit with the work on my mind. There's nothing wrong with that, so I just like to get it like out the way, then I don't mind training later in the day. Anyway, I used to train at peak gym time 5:30 PM, so you know, training a little bit later in the day rather than training at, you know, 10, 11 isn't an issue with me. So sit down, get some work cracked away up until about 10 o'clock. So about 3 hours of work, and then we can get cracked on with a productive afternoon. Good morning and thank you for checking, it's much appreciated, bro. I also value the amount of detail that you go into when you're sending your response over, because it allows me to give you 1, accurate feedback, and 2, enough for us to be able to make the progressions that we need. And that's why in the last like 3 weeks, look at the change in starting day. We're only like half a kilo up, and that's not a problem because we've been tapering food up enough to warrant that half a kilo. But we've also got slightly more detail, and that's just the novelty for you taking training to this degree. Look at the detail through the quad starting to shine through, and the fullness through the lats and the arms. And I think now that we've gone through a very good initial standardization block, we don't run the risk of pushing up and gaining unnecessary body fat or dieting and losing muscle tissue, because things like training, nutrition, recovery, sleep are all not in check. Those things are now getting ticked off. We're ticking off the boxes day by day. So we're now in a position where we can go into that initial phase now of starting to bring a deficit, exactly like with the fact that we've tapered up food enough. We can do that now without running the risk of having to break it into so many stints, because we run into that block at the bottom. So let's do that. Let's make an initial pull to food now that we're in a position to do so. And I've took a little bit of food out of both days, a little bit more out of your rest day than your training day, just because I wanted to keep pre and post quite high. Say hello. Out for some steps, and as you can see, this is a little more shaky than my DJI, but not much, but you can see the difference, but also the difference in quality. So hopefully if I can pick up like a little gimbal or something for this, any recommendations, let me know as well. That'll be useful. But out for some steps now, just to get a little bit of a walk in. One thing I definitely abide by is getting outdoors. Whether you've got a walking pad or not, like raining or not, get outdoors, because the amount of difference it will do for you is night and day in terms of like your cognitive stress, and just having a nice little release. Getting outdoors does so much for you mentally, also physically, man. Like imagine not seeing proper oxygen for your entirety of your day. People that just abide by staying in the house, mental. Get outdoors. But yeah, I'll wrap it up because I know this is going to be super shaky watching it back. But yeah, get some steps in for 20 minutes, half an hour, get up to about 6k steps. That doesn't leave me too many to get at the gym, and once I get home, 10k a day, no cardio. Enough for right now. I'll catch you guys in a moment. A couple of things to mention. One of them, look at all that in the foreground. Christmas time, obviously, so you're giving presents away and stuff. You've got to start getting all the presents and the chocolates and all that stuff together. So that's all going on in the corner of the room whilst one is trying to diet. Also at the same time, I forgot to record my last meal. And it's because of, obviously, as you can tell by the headset, being on the pod. So I've completely forgot to do anything regarding filming meals, even though it was meant to be some degree of a full day of eating. The last meal, 100 grams of white potato, 150 grams of chicken breast, 100 grams of veg, like 20, 30 grams of sauerkraut. Basically just a pro carb meal. Not a lot of carb, quite a bit of pro, very simple. Then the meal that I will be having in a few minutes will be a salmon fillet and 200 grams of white potato. My bad, didn't film any of the like food for the last couple of clips, but I was busy, man. I was grafting. I was making the pod for you guys. And if you do want to check the pod out, go and have a look at the Unassisted podcast, the Unassisted podcast. We'll try and link it in the description, but it's just me, Adam, Elliot, the team Paul Keezers, the trio, getting some chatting, some working. providing a little bit of education, giving you guys something to watch whilst you're doing cardio. So go and check that out if you get the opportunity to as well. Just making a tea, man. Nothing special going on here. Just making a brew, a good old English brew. Because I'm about to go and train soon, so trying to get a little bit of caffeine, and I don't take pre-workout because it makes my stomach feel inside out, especially when I've got an empty stomach in a deficit. At the peak of my off season, it's just another appetite suppressant. I don't see the benefits of it more than it elevating my heart rate to a place I don't need it to go to. So I don't really have pre at all, ever. I had it in prep, because who doesn't? But other than that, I have genuinely not had pre for nearly a year. I probably had pre 3 times. The 3 times I had it, didn't click with it. So something that I just don't utilise at all anymore. But anyway, yeah, grabbing a brew, missed out the last few meals, my bad. But most importantly, we're in the gym for legs today. I am all rambled out for today. The next thing you will see is the gym floor, because pre-meal is down, devoured a little bit of salmon, a little bit of dark chocolate and some carbohydrates before I send myself to the gym. Few steps, jump on a call with a client. I enjoy working in the dark, by the way, before anyone mentions it, because someone mentioned it last time. I love it like this. It may be a mixture of autism and ADHD. I don't know if it's either or both, but I love it. I've got one monitor screen on, a tiny little ring light right in the corner, and I don't even put the main light on. I just work in that because I just feel so like focused in on my monitor screen, on my MacBook screen, when the room's a little bit darker. So I'm enjoying these dark early nights of winter. But anyway, I'll be on the gym floor in a moment, and I will catch you guys when I get to the gym. We are in for legs, starting off with calf raise and then I'll move into the other movements. Already warmed, and I've shown that in the last vid, so I'm not going to warm back to back in videos. Very, very boring. But we'll get into the session, and like I said, a very different one today because I'm not actually going to logbook my reps, my load. I'm just going to do that by self-analysis. I'm going to see how I feel in a set prior. If it feels heavy, I'm going to put my load on. If it feels light, I'm going to put my load on. If it feels heavy, then I'll back off with a bit more load for my back off sets, and I'll just see how I go with that method, because realistically, the main thing that matters is that I'm stimulating my muscle, and I think I'm at the point in training now where I know whether I can do that or not, and I know whether a set feels good or not, whether I want to do a higher rep set first, maybe for a smaller muscle group, or whether I want to do, send some numbers, and that should be based off how I feel. That's how I'm going to get the best session. So I'm just trialing this out and seeing how I go, doing that method instead. So straight into the calf raise. Put some on it, did something with it, felt great, that's all that matters, right? And then we'll go into the set following now. 3 sets today on the standing calf. Did 2 sets on 150, about 11 and a 10 I think, or maybe a 10 and a 9. Then I'll just do a bit of a lighter load set, feel like getting a little bit more blood into my calf, so we'll back off a little bit in load, do 135, see what we get on there. Then that's 3 sets of calves, and then we'll move over to the ab crunch, do 2 sets over there before we get into the big work. Now moving into the ab work, the stuff that people do minimal of and don't do often, and also treat it as a little bit of fluff work, so they just use this as like warm-ups before actually getting into the real parts of their session. Always at the back end when people don't really want to put much effort into anything. Serious work to get done, man. Your obliques can make or break your quarter turns, can make or break your ab and thigh. It is not leg day, it's ab and thigh day. So 2 sets here, obviously taking it all the way there, and then we'll move into the adductor work. Chalk is on, hands are dry. More importantly, the earphones will go in. I know a lot of people in this gym, I don't like talking whilst I'm training and stuff like that, because a lot of the times it will just slow down the flow of my session. Recently, I've been taking a lot more like mindfulness, should I say, of my rest times and just keeping my stuff flowing, making sure that I've got blood in my muscles at all times. There's no point getting warm if after your first working take you're going to take 8 minutes and then you're cold again. You warm up for a reason. Get yourself ready, skill acquisition, keep that there. Do your top set, take a few minutes and then get into your back off set. Don't lose that. So straight into the work now, 2 sets of ab crunch, and then we're moving to the good stuff. half ab, and then 2 sets of adductor. It used to be 3, obviously pulled back and regressed. Training on a Tuesday, Friday, and you get up to a point with a strength curve that you actually have to drop off a little bit in like reps, total sets, sorry, in order to obviously accumulate for that volume. I was doing like 5 total sets a week, I'm now doing 4, just because the adductors are one of the things that no matter how long I train them for, how long into a microcycle, mesocycle I am, the soreness with my adductors is unreal. It's like I've come back from a deload, you know, when like everything's just like, oh. So I dropped after 2 total sets, and I've started seeing like the progressions that I was having start to come back even through the deficit now. So good signs, 2 sets total. And the adductors are coming up, so pulling back a set, it's not like they're an extremity of a weak body part now, so that's not an issue either. Whoa! Two sets now on the seated ham curl, all my ham curl work. What? 3 sets now on the seated ham curl. All my ham curl work right now is on the seated ham curl because I'm very glute dominant. After I tore my meniscus, I feel like the squat patterns, the press patterns, a lot of glute has took over through that work, so I've almost had to train it out of being stimulated through a lot of movements. Seated ham curl feels much better for lying ham curl than me. My hips just want to shift on a lying ham. So I do all my seated ham curl work on this session. 7 sets total, 3 sets on my overleg session, 2 sets on this session, 2 sets yesterday on pull. So all seated ham, got 3 sets here. Gotta get it done right. Rear double bicep. So this movement is rear double bicep. And then fake ham drop from the side leg. This is what I'm like visualizing as I go into this set, and that's what I think helps me with a lot of my work, just visualizing the actual pose rather than visualizing. I think one thing that helps me with a lot of my work is visualizing the actual pose rather than thinking about the set itself. I just think if I do this set better than anybody else that is going to be stood next to me does this one specific set, then I'm going to have a better side leg in my side shots, I'm going to have a better hamstring in my rear double, in my rear lat, and you've just got to think that on repeat. So I clear my mind after this set, and the next set is the exact same principle again. If I do this one set better than everybody else, you reset, you go again, you reset, you go again. And that's what I'm never ever annoyed from a session that one set went bad. The last one went bad, back of the pack, reset, make yourself fill at the pack. That's how I get through a lot of my work right now. Ugh. No! Build up work done. I don't like to call it accessory work, I've said this.
It's not an accessory. You can't have like an accessory. An accessory is like a small little piece of jewelry. Nothing is small. Not in this game anyway. So I've done my build-up work. Everything is stimulated. My quads, and now I'm going to move into a leg press. That's very, very quad bias, heel elevated. Trying to get as much flexion as possible. I don't care about losing like mid-foot pressure. For front foot pressure, I actually feel like I get a very good connection when I go for front foot pressure. I feel a lot of stability, which is ideal. So I'm actually going to do 2 sets here, 1 normal set and then 1.5, so 1 integrated partial set. And then from there, I'll have my hack and my leg extension to finish off the session. So basically all my quad work now and what people call the bigger stuff. But either way, everything gets treated with the same amount of quality, the same amount of respect. But yeah, I'll go into this now and see how this moves. I usually do band this as well if the band's not snapped. I have put a band back order with Amazon because someone snapped a green band. It's usually what I put on here to get a little bit more oomph in the short. Whilst my quads are super fresh, because I've not done any accessory, right? I've not done anything like a leg extension. I'm completely fresh, so I can have the ability to be a bit heavier in the short, get a bit more blood flow in my quads, and then really finish myself off with hack and leg extension. Then we'll put a band on this if there's one about, and we'll get it cracking. Okay, come on now, champ. Okay, one with me now, girl. Okay. And I don't have a number in mind today, I just want to do something that feels good. So, work up in another plate, and then I'll see how light that is into spin, whether I'm going to go another plate or whether I'm going to put like a 10 or a 15 on this, because the discrepancy between both my sessions is massive. And when I put that leg press first, it takes a lot out of me. I'll drop from 5 plates in a 5 to 3 in a 15. But it's not about how much you move on said movement, it's not about who sees how much you move on said movement. It's not about whether you know you've done that load before. It's about how much you can break down a muscle, recover, come back the next week and do it again. but slightly better. And better doesn't always mean more load. Better sometimes just means better tech, better tempo. It's never just load. So, not log booking today, and I've got 3 sets left. Might be sneaking early, but it feels fucking great. Let's put it that way, it feels great. Very, very fun. Just putting numbers on stuff and letting my body decide. Is it moving, is it not moving? It takes all of this connotation between my logbook and all this like mental like draining that sometimes you're warming up and you're like, this has to move, like it has to move. And I love that mentality, but I can still have this has to move mentality without the pressure of knowing that I've done this before, maybe slightly better, or losing a rep and letting that get in my head and trying to reset. And it sort of comes back to you like, I need plus reps on this because I've lost reps on here. Sometimes that's detrimental, man. Today training's been so fucking fun. So yeah, let's see what's cracking here anyway. And a very big note around that to mention is, if you know that you can't bring yourself here and give 110% every single session, it won't work. Not logbooking will not work, because that logbooking is the highest form of accountability, of seeing you can do that load, you've done it before, so go and do it. But, you know, if you come in here, you work your damn ass off, it might just favour you. That decides that. Too light. Easy one, that. Easy one. Easy fucking one. The seatbelt introduction in here has been so helpful as well. I giggled at Will, one of my clients, over this. I was like, surely not. Tried it and just keeping my hips fixed back. What a big shout. What a big shout. It's just like no food for thought other than just driving through the quads. And it just goes to show, like, being receptive to learning from any and everyone in the game. You could be a gem pop and come from a pure gym. If you tell me something hits, I'll always give it practice before I give it, you know, bad word of mouth. I'll always give something practice before I'll give it bad word of mouth, because at the end of the day, bodybuilding is subjective. Pretty much everything about this sport is subjective. There's studies contradicting everything, so just do what you want to do, see if it works. If it doesn't work, adjust. If you think it can do better, adjust, but always give something practice before you bad mind it, you know, get in the Instagram comments and start talking your shit. Give something a chance before you mock it, because I mock this seatbelt. Jesus Christ, it's good. My spotter is here. I know I can 6 plate on Friday, or at least 5.5 for an all-time best. I just need this to move. Okay, come on then, champ. I'll take that. Only a 4 there, and that's nothing, that. But relative to where this is placed in the session, that is everything, because I know I can move an extra plate on my other session, on my Friday session. I know it, so if I can continue that into Friday, I'll probably take 5 plates on Friday for hopefully 6. If I move 5 plates for 6, then I know I'll take a lower rep on this session on the following Tuesday, and then I can rotate into maybe an 8 repper on the Friday, 4 and a 15. And, you know, 3 weeks in advance now, 6 sessions ahead, I'm thinking about, I will move 5 plates further into my deficit. On my Friday session, I will move 5.5 plates. I just need 6 rotations. And I know what I need on each rotation, hence why I'm saying I don't need to logbook so drastically, because I know what I want and I know what I need. And if it doesn't feel good on the day, I'll do a 12. If I feel like doing more on the day, I'll do a damn 20. Do you know what I mean? But all that matters is that the work remains at the actual intensity that I need it to be, and I'm stimulating the muscle as much as I need it to be. That's it, right? That's it.